Hey, good people. I'm Dr. Seth, psychologist. Today, I want to talk about something that's really important for your relationships. Doesn't matter if it's a family relationship, a friend relationship, a romantic relationship, a work relationship. Think about the number of relationships, the types of relationships that we can have in our lives. There are so many different relationships that we may have in our daily lives. And what I want to talk about is going to apply to each one of them. And that is the importance of making sure to say you're sorry when you have done something that is hurtful or could harm the relationship. Now, I just want to take a moment and say this may sound like something very simplistic. This may sound like something that, of course, goes without saying, or something like I'm talking to young children or something. Make sure to always say you're sorry and apologize. What I'm talking about is actually something much bigger than that. One of the things that I have found as a psychologist for over 20 years in my clinical work is that there are certain things, certain behaviors that one can do in relationships that can chip away at the relationship and actually cause the relationship one day to dissolve, to go away, to end, or it can cause the trust in the relationship, the belief in the relationship, the faith a person has in that relationship, the degree to which they trust that relationship, it can really cause that to erode. So that if some of these unhealthy behaviors, like the one I'm going to talk about now, gets practiced too frequently, sometimes there can be very little trust left. And so when I talk about the importance of remembering if you have done something that's hurtful in a relationship, remembering to go back to that other person later, acknowledge what you did, apologize for it in a meaningful way. If you don't follow that step, the other person, after a while, if there are too many times when the apologies are never made, the other person can really start to feel like this is not a relationship that I can trust. This is a person that can hurt me, but there's never any repair of it. Sometimes people who stop apologizing in relationships, they will tell themselves, well, we'll just go back to normal later. We'll just wait a little while and then everything will go back to normal. But it doesn't go back to normal if these kinds of things keep happening as a pattern too much. If, as a pattern, a person does things that hurt another person, the other person is going to have a reaction to that. The other person is going to feel like, is this relationship good for me? Is this relationship one that comforts me? Is this relationship one where I feel secure? Is this relationship one where I feel the other person has integrity? Do I want to invest in this relationship? Is this person someone who is emotionally stable? Is this someone that I can count on to be good to me? Is this someone I can count on to be fair? Fairness matters. It is important in every good relationship to feel like there is fairness in that relationship. And if a person starts feeling like, wait a minute, in this relationship, there's something about it that doesn't feel fair to me, people can start to emotionally retreat and not turn to that relationship as much, not care about that relationship as much, not trust the relationship or trust the other person as much. And it makes perfect sense, right? Imagine someone keeps hurting you, doing things that upset you, and they never take the time to acknowledge it with a meaningful apology. They never make any attempt to really repair it. Well, it would make perfect sense if you have a decent self esteem to say, actually, I don't like that behavior. I don't want to be close to someone who does that and who can't show the integrity of coming back later, communicating, and talking about it. Apologies don't fix everything, but they do show at least an attempt to acknowledge that there was something that was hurtful that happened, there was an emotional violation, there is an attempt. And you know what? In relationships, when people stop making attempts to make things better, especially after someone feels hurt, the trust, the caring can really fade away if people aren't careful. All right. So I hope this is something that you can think about and maybe carry with you in your own relationships. Each one of us has to remember ourselves when we hurt another person, when we do something that has upset someone, to acknowledge it, communicate, step up, be an adult, and talk about it. Say you're sorry, say what you're sorry for, and make a real effort in the future to say, if I want to keep this relationship and if I want to be a decent person in this world, I will do things that show that I am capable of repairing things. All right. Hopefully, this video has been helpful. You can also check out my whole library of videos on my YouTube channel, Dr. Seth Psychologist. You can also check out my podcast if you want to go deeper. Episodes that I do with interviews with experts on a whole range of self improvement topics so that we can understand ourselves and each other better. Have a good one, everybody.